Hello, Dora. Today is our 20th anniversary. So with the help of the boys, I wanted to take a quick walk down memory lane. All the places we've been, all the stuff we've done together. And I wanted to start here. This is where it all began for me. I was born here, and this is where I first thought about who I might marry one day. Amidst the air drumming to Rush and eating the Cheetos, I thought about who would I marry one day. So I've asked Lincoln and Spencer to help reenact certain things, and Lincoln's going to reenact some of those moments right now.
I wonder who I'm gonna marry.
Do you have youth group on Wednesday? That was my killer opening line when I asked you out right here in 1997. Right here outside what used to be Overlake Florist. It's now something that's decidedly not florist at all. But that was a very special day to me, and I trust it was to you as well. Here's some pictures you might remember of our reception at Eileen's house. We were unable to get footage there as it's somewhat overgrown and you can't park anywhere without trespassing. So here's some pictorial memories of that fine September event back in 1998. Back in October of 98, October 26th, Lincoln John Keller comes into the world at Evergreen Hospital. Wonderful experience, firstborn son. Remember holding him, he seemed so fragile. But I learned that all my kids are very, very resilient. Well, sweetheart, this was our first home as a married couple in North Everett. Wonderful view of the mountains. Great time raising our firstborn son, Lincoln, here. Lincoln, as you know, learned a very important skill here. A skill that first demonstrated itself as he approached me when I was sitting on the couch once and vigorously slapped my thigh for no good reason. Behind me is the Snohomish County Courthouse. First job after we got married, 1998 to 2004. Graveyard shift, swing shift, worked up in the records and administration. People might denigrate that. They might say, oh, you were a paper pusher. You know what? I didn't wear a gun by my own choice. I could have. Maybe sometimes I did. You'll never know. Well, you probably remember, just like I do, getting the keys to this, our first home, our first rental house, from an aging hippie who had about 6 or 7 clocks set to different times around the house because he didn't want to be constrained by the limits of time. You might also remember other things about this place, the spiders, Spencer and Lincoln hanging out, Dundits, Wedgie Tails, and there was an altercation, a famous altercation between Spencer and Lincoln that I've asked them to reproduce for you now. For purposes of this reenactment, this empty plastic bottle is meant to represent what was a toy wooden truck. Well, this is the first church that you and I were members of together, Dora. Calvary Baptist Church in Everett, Washington, under the leadership of Pastor Rex Furman. Over my shoulder is the Providence Colby campus, where Spencer Charles Keller was born. I've asked him to reflect on that day.
Yeah, so the day I was born, I started off the day with some lateral tricep extensions, and then I moved to some shoulder exercises, did some shrugs, and some shoulder presses. A little tough since I wasn't totally experienced with it yet. And then I did some deadlifts. I lifted, I think it was 345 pounds for my first day. Not too bad for the first day. And then before I left, they had to see a solid deuce. So it's a pretty good day.
Well, here we are at 3316 Colby, one of the two parsonages of Calvary Baptist Church. Started working at the church and then in exchange got a reduced rent here. You recall this is the place of many fun times with Lila and Spencer and Lincoln. Whether it was Spencer thinking that there was a monster in the other room when it was really me snoring, whether it was Lila playing my drums in only her diapers, or Lincoln and Spencer together doing a lot of the things that they love to do together, just like this. Here we are at Providence Hospital, the place where Lila Mae Keller entered the world, 2002. Lots of things to remember from that time. It was a complicated birth. Thank the Lord there were some excellent medical personnel there to assist. But I think one of the things we remember the most is our pastor at the time coming by with his wife and praying with us, and then making sure that he imitated his aging mother and how she would flatulate. Here we are back at Calvary Baptist Church, where I transitioned from civil service work at the sheriff's office to a role as assistant to the pastor here at Calvary. And the good news was I was voted in unanimously to that job by the congregation. The bad news was the deacons would sleep during my evening sermons. But that prepared me. It prepared me for the future when I'd be giving long talks to the kids.
Oh, it's true.
Look at this photograph. Every time I do, it makes me laugh. How did our eyes get so red? And what the hell is on Joey's head? This is where I grew up. I think the president owner fixed it up. I never knew we ever went without. The second floor is hot for sneaking out.
We know this place very well. Probably the place that the kids consider their favorite home growing up. Here's a couple memories to share with you along the way.
Look at this photograph. Every time I do, it makes me laugh. How did our eyes get so red?
We are farmers, dun 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 dun, laid off. Here we are back in 2006, back at Providence for the birth of our last son, our youngest son, Aiden James Keller. And as our other three children awaited meeting their brother with bated breath, a spirit of sobriety, even reverence, permeated their surroundings. Remember when I supplemented my income with this delivery job? That was kind of a dumb idea, wasn't it? Lots of good podcast listening, though, and it was always a little adventure when you and the kids would come with me in the wee hours of the morning as I was tootling around Snohomish County. During another lean employment period, your dad graciously got me the gig on the Northern Hawk, where I watched it during a transfer of ownership. Nothing exciting ever happened, but here are a couple examples of things that I wished had happened. Man overboard! Put that fishing gear down or I will cut you. Well, in 2006, we became members, or shortly thereafter, started attending our second church as a married couple, a little startup called Mars Hill. And first we went over to Shermer in Edmonds, then we went to Lake City, and then we ended up back at the Shoreline campus, which moved right here to Aldercrest, and I was hired on and helped in that transition. And we were members here until 2012, and surprising no one based on the practices of the church in the past, I was laid off in 2011 by my still good friend, James. And that episode, chapter of our lives, ended back in 2012, and it looks like things are changing here even now. Well, here we are in beautiful Lake Forest Park, and behind me is the secondary Meyer residence, where we lived for a few years after coming out from Maltby, Snohomish area. A lot of important things happened here. This was really the birth of the Big Beast Band Brothers, some important Batman footage, some Mythbuster footage, lots of good times here. And here we are at RAM Technologies, workplace since September of 2011. Let's go back and see if maybe there's an announcement or something waiting in the wings.
Attention, all RAM employees. I would like to wish my hot, loving wife Dora a happy 20th anniversary.
Well, after everything went sideways at Mars Hill, we departed summer of 2012, looked around a little bit, and then settled at this little church in the woods. Attended here a few times with our friends, the Harlemans and Toulouses, and by golly, we stayed here, became members. I became an elder. We lead worship all the time. Our whole family seems to help all the time. And it's been a pretty wonderful 6 years. Well, it's quite a journey, 20 years. I want you to know I love you very much. Thanks for sticking with me. Here's to 20, 40, maybe 60 more. Love you very much from me and the kids.
All right. When you're ready.
Ready? Well, hello, Dora.
That's the whole video.
Okay.
I'm keeping bloopers.
All right.
for these.
Okay, ready?
Hold on.
You're laughing. Hang
He's
on.
preparing.
He's still got that. And action.
Dang it.
Action. Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, here we are, 3316 Colby. First parsonage we've ever... Okay, look.
Go ahead.
And here we are back at Providence Hospital for the birth of Aiden James Keller, our final prodigy. And as you can see, our...
Go ahead.
And here we are back in 2006 for the birth of our youngest son, Aiden James Keller.
I don't know why I'm laughing. Is it recording?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here we are, Chenault Beach Road. Okay.
Here, I'll just.
A lot of people that we love and cherish. It's been a good, you know.
It's been a good, you know.